before the earnings movers, what a close, and particularly some of those semi-stocks, which you've been talking about often. I mean, Nvidia was up nearly 10%.
Now, Nvidia does report tomorrow, and I do expect it to be really great. Remember, you're dealing with stocks that are down 20, 30% from their highs. Now, we have a lot of people talking like Mike Wilson today at lunch, saying, look, it's a bear market. Well, if you own Nvidia coming into the year, you bet it's a bear market. If you own AMD, the Xilinx deal closed. You had all these ARBs selling the Xilinx at the beginning, and not Xilinx selling their AMD, knocked it down, and then boom. And it was almost like, wow, SMH takes off. I watched Marvell. They have a terrific quarter. And then the Tower Semi, which is a little bit odd. I think that's great that Pat Gelsinger is doing something. Remember, that's somewhat older technology for form factor. And a lot of what they do is some cell phone. Maybe he feels like he needs that. But it's not as cutting edge as I'd like in the work that I've done. I was very bullish on the deal this morning. People are saying, pulling your horns on that deal, pulling your horns, pulling your horns.
Intel went up, at least, on that.
Well, yeah, because I think that look, they have a pulse. And this was something where they are a cash machine. People don't realize that Intel makes more money than everybody, but they have directed it really badly. This is a good idea. I like foundries, but foundries can be up and down unless they're proprietary.
In terms of the earnings movers, why don't we start with the good news first? Airbnb, I mean...
Okay, all right. So I'm talking with Brian after this number. And the one thing's clear.
Brian Chesky, CEO of Airbnb.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, you've already spoken to him.
Sure. And here's what's amazing about Brian. 2 years ago, we had a very heartfelt call. I was in that hotelier business, not so hot. He was busy putting me out of business. And he was saying, geez, I don't know. I mean, like, how are we going to make it? I said, of course you're going to make it. Are you kidding me? It's the way people travel. It's what's happening. Well, it turns out now the stays are much longer. Okay, much longer. I mean, people just, I'll tell you what's really incredible about this. Name me the competitors. He is so far pulled away. The website is so great. The length of stay is great. We don't even have, check his language, cross-border versus Marriott. Marriott's saying, hey, listen, we're doing okay. And when cross-border comes back, well, who knows? His is, we're crushing it, cross-border or not cross-border. His enthusiasm is infectious. I like the stock up here.
Well, they're also
albeit both of you
what?
Prefer the Connaught to Airbnb.
I mean, what do you out
World's
me
best,
like?
world's best bar.
Hey, I took the tube, whatever that is. I took the tube.
I think
choice.
when in London, stay boutique hotels.
Yeah.
But how about the
pricing? Have you ever been out with him at the end of the evening?
A lot of times.
Yeah, well, it's always very
fun.
I thought we'd buy. I wanted the Queen. I ended up playing
only on weekends, not on a school night.
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Now let's talk about Roblox.
Roblox.
They're very
down
clever.
12%.
They're very clever. Notice it was down 13 immediately.
Yeah.
Now this reminds me of a lot of times when you deal with Roblox, and what you deal with Roblox is there's a fantasy line. I mean, it's a fantasy company. So wait for the darn conference call, because there are always positive bombs that are dropped.